Years after the U.S. withdraws its military in Afghanistan, some families in the Asian country are reminiscing on some of the predicament they have went through during the United States military invasion. Now, the affected families are blaming the U.S. government for the suffering they endure, saying they did not receive any support to restore the huge social and economic damages caused. Here's more details of that in this report.
The scars of US-led Afghanistan war can be seen in many areas inside Afghanistan. Baboos is one of the villages where dozens of houses were bombarded by the US-led foreign forces. Akhtar Muhammad is a family leader and works in agriculture sector. For generations, his family has depended on farming in the village of Baboos in eastern Logar province. He lost 5 family members from consecutive bombardment on their house by the US-led coalition forces in mid-2019. He said that 3 of his brothers, a nephew and son were killed, and his daughter and another son were severely injured, and both are currently disabled.
It was around 9:30 p.m. when U.S. forces broke into our house. My family members were asleep and one of my brothers was sleeping outside the room. My other 3 brothers were asleep inside their rooms. They woke them up and shot and killed all 5 of them.
Lida Ahmadi was home when the US-led forces bombarded the house and she lost one of her legs. She became paralyzed and remembered nothing but the pain she felt after finding herself in a local facility and realizing that she has lost her leg. Lida has been also suffering psychological trauma.
I was feeling severe pain in my back. There was so much pain in my legs, and then I noticed that I had lost one of my legs.
Shortly before the withdrawal of the US and allied forces from Afghanistan, US-led forces launched a deadly drone strike in Kabul on August 29, 2021 that left 10 civilians dead, including 7 children. The US called the incident a tragic mistake, saying the strike was intended for ISIS-K militants. The victim's family member Ajmal Ahmadi says they were evacuated to the US in 2022, but there has been a lack of any kind of financial or mental support despite the US government's pledges. He says it's a never-ending nightmare.
The US government has done nothing to support us. We were brought to the US like ordinary refugees. They haven't paid any compensations to us, and we were struggling financially on our own.
Afghan experts and authorities believe that the scars of the US military presence in Afghanistan have also impacted economic growth and infrastructure. According to the experts, it has hindered growth in business sector with regional countries as well.
Unfortunately, there is no village, province or district in Afghanistan where the Americans did not conduct airstrikes or raids. There is no village where civilians were not killed.
One of the reasons behind the presence of Americans and other Western countries in Afghanistan was to hinder the economic influence of neighboring countries, particularly China.
Although the exact numbers of airstrikes launched by the US and allied forces in Afghanistan is not yet clear, but data released by the US Air Force Central Command, AFCENT, says the highest rate of airstrikes were recorded in 2019, while the US military presence was still in the country.
And